Folks, in this chapter, we're going to bump up our game a little bit. We're going to start getting into intermediate After Effects. We're going to start out by talking about spatial interpolation in this chapter. As we mentioned before when we were talking about animation, interpolation is how After Effects gets from point A to point B. It's the equivalent of tweening in the old school animation days. But what really makes After Effects cool is that we can adjust the interpolation. We can adjust what happens in between the keyframes. I have here two tanks. One tank is visible right now, and they have the exact same keyframes. And they just basically go from point A to point B. Now, as I turn on the other tank, we can see that it goes from point A to point B at the same time. And you can see again, they both only have two position keyframes, point A to point B. But again, interpolation is how it gets from point A to point B. So when I preview both tanks, the interpolation is very different, how it gets from point A to point B. And actually, if I unlock this layer and select it, we'll see something called a motion path. And that's how I made this spatial interpolation different. And by the way, when I say spatial, I mean where it is on screen. Position is one of the few properties that does have spatial interpolation. But we can really use this to our benefit going forward. So let's jump in the next movie and start talking about how to create and adjust these motion paths.